Let's see if this thing is working.
Is this working?
If this thing is working.
It is working.
If this thing is working.
It is working.
If this thing is working. I should probably mute that tab, or I'm gonna have a lot of problems here. Okay, so today I am playing some dude on Lichess 4545. So I guess I should send him a challenge here. All right, challenge. I have the white pieces. 45 plus 45. Let's go. Oh wait, I challenged him for casual. That was stupid. Let's go back here. Let's try that again. Rated. Okay. White pieces 45 45 rated. So apparently this guy is some kind of big opening theory junkie. So we'll see if we can dodge some theory here. What do you think? I am actually live on Twitch, right? Yes, I am. I think. All right. So if he doesn't accept the challenge, then I guess I get a free win. I don't think that we've actually played any. I think this is the first game of my team match here. Yeah, nobody's played yet. All right. So we wait. Guess actually put this over here. Looks good. Cool. Yeah, so I prepared a little bit. I mean, I'll try to trick him. Just because, like, if he really knows, you know, every opening theory in the world, I am not going to play something that, you know, walks right into his stuff. Okay. Hit him with the good luck, have fun. All right, let's go. I will play 1e4. I prepared a tiny bit here, but not too much. You never want to prepare too much because it's not like you're ever going to get exactly what you prepare. Okay, so e4, e5. I have a lot of options here. I usually play the Italian, but I'm going to surprise him. I'm going to play the Roy Lopez, so at least he won't have been able to prepare for me too much. Okay, so yeah, my surprise line here is that after a6, bishop, a4, knight f6, I'm gonna play knight c3, which is kind of, it's a uncommon line, but I think it's relatively principled. And Carlsen beat Anand with it once, so it can't really be that bad. I'm guessing this is the point where he was expecting the Italian. So hopefully, like, I don't know, this type of player usually, like the super opening theory nerds, they can really get knocked off balance a little bit when their opponent plays something unexpected. So I'm hoping that is what's happening here. Hopefully he'll just, you know, collapse. But 2200. I mean, he can find his way in the Roy Lopez even if he didn't expect it, right? So I know he's a Marshall player, so I don't want to go into the Marshall because I'm a Marshall player, which means I respect the opening for black too much. Plus, it's a lot of calculation work. I'm going to play something that's kind of a little bit simplifying. I'm going to go for early knight c3, early knight d5. Okay. You have anything here yet? Nope. Yeah, classical chess, it's not the most exciting Twitch content because you do run into these stretches where black is just thinking. Black is thinking. So what can I talk about? I don't know. I think I have about one viewer right now, so one viewer, let me know what I should talk about. I have so many opinions on everything. Chess and otherwise. Okay. Where like, what is he thinking about? Really, he has to decide now, are you going to play a6, which is the move that you always play, or are you going to randomly play the Berlin? I guess this is his decision. If he's trying to like double surprise me by playing the Berlin, I don't know. Maybe I'll still play the four knights. I'll probably play Berlin knight of 6 castles. I play rook e1. I think that's supposed to be pretty boring. I don't really know anything about the Roy Lopez except that I play it as black and I don't play the Berlin as black. Okay, so he goes for the stuff that he knows. Bishop a4, exchanging the knight. you know, it's possible, but who wants to get into all that? All right, and here is my surprise move, knight c3. Hopefully he's just reeling in shock right now. Oh my goodness, he developed his knight. Of course, the main line here is to castle, play rook e1, play c3, d4, and, you know, it's a Spanish. So the idea of knight c3 is that maybe we get an early knight d5 under favorable circumstances. We are protecting this pawn, so there is a threat to go bishop c6, dc6, and takes now. But obviously the downside is we don't get to expand in the center naturally with c3, d4 like we really want to. Let me see here. Cool. Why did I move this tab? This tab should stay over here. That makes more sense. Okay. Oh, and I'm looking at some bullet game. Don't want to do that. I guess I didn't really consider it. I guess he could just watch my stream. It does put a big green thing that says Nuki Chess is streaming. So if he clicks that, he will get to hear everything that I think. So if you're listening, Mr. Opponent, please don't listen. It's not allowed. I mean, honestly, it'll probably make him play worse. Like my MO usually is I'll calculate a bunch of nonsense and then I'll just play something random. So I don't know that listening to the nonsense will, you know, have any predictive power over the random moves that I eventually play. All right, so knight c3. Main options here. He can play immediate bishop c5. I think is the main line, or at least it's the recommendation in Jan Gustafsson's E4/E5 course. And then he can play b5, bishop b3, bishop c5. After which I have a nice move knight d5, and I think that white can definitely press for an advantage there. Or not? Did I say knight e5? I meant knight d5. Hello, Mr. Luke Ladder Walker. How are you doing? Okay, so these are the two options that I know of. I know of bishop b5, and I know of bishop c5 and pawn to b5. I don't really know what else is that reasonable. You could play, I don't know, bishop. Anything else is gonna drop the e pawn, right? Unless you're gonna play d6 immediately, which strikes me as pretty sketchy. I'd probably just play d3, try to get an early bishop g5. It looks kind of passive. I guess d6 is possible though. Maybe d6, d4 actually. You never played chess and you want to get into it. Yes. Yeah, just start playing. You mean you haven't played chess at all? Like you haven't even played one game of online chess? If so, just go make an account on Lichess. I'm playing on Lichess right now, or chess.com. They're both good sites, and play some games, see if you like it. The problem with getting into chess is that it's going to be like really, really tedious and hard when you start playing, and you kind of have to get over a certain threshold before it becomes fun. I don't know. So if you can like muddle through the being bad at chess and get to a point where you can actually enjoy it, then I think it's pretty rewarding. But most people don't get past the first stage because it's both confusing and tedious when you don't really know what's going on. But I assume you watch some chess streamers if you're looking at the you know, one viewer Twitch streams of chess. Okay. Yeah, I think that this has been a little successful. I looked at this guy's games and he just basically like tries to opening theory everybody he plays. Like he opening theoried some FM. So it's good to maybe knock him out of his comfort zone just a little bit. A knight c3 is not that weird. Again, Magnus Carlsen has played this in classical games. Like, can't be that crazy. Okay, he plays bishop c5 immediately, which is a move that Anand played against Carlsen. I think I take here, takes, and pawn d3 is my idea. So let's go for it. Takes. And yeah, obviously taking on e5 is really not a good idea. I think just because of bishop f2, king f2, queen here, king e1, takes. It's actually not completely ridiculous, but it's there's absolutely no reason to do that. So I'm going to play pawn d3. And after pawn d3, Then the pawn is still kind of protected by this queen d4 idea. Let's see. So obviously it takes with the d pawn. I mean, it takes with the b pawn. I actually can grab this pawn. So there's nothing to think about here. I think this guy's being very, very cautious. He's like, okay, I'm out of theory and just making stuff up. Let's see. You said, should I just start playing and learn along the way? Yeah, absolutely. That's the main way that you improve at the beginning. Like, you play some games, your opponent beats you with a certain checkmate, and then you try to do the same checkmate to the next guy. And then that works until you're like maybe 1200. When you're 1200, start doing some tactics, and yeah. I mean, the way to improve at chess is actually, it's pretty known, it's pretty standard. But yeah, the first step is just dive in, play a bunch of practice games, enjoy being at 800 because it doesn't last too long. Okay, he takes to the d pawn. Taking here is very silly, so I won't do it. But I'm still tempted. Knight e5, bishop f2, king f2, queen. Whoa, queen d4, king e1. It's just nonsense. Why would I do that? Okay, let's play pawn d3. And now I have to decide, even now, am I threatening to take this? Take on e5, I think is just met by queen to d4, followed by resignation? Oh, actually, I don't know why I'm even calculating this, because I'm not going to play it. But queen d4, bishop e3, take here, d4. That's so silly. I'm not going to do that. It's nonsense. Okay, so I'm anticipating, I guess, what is the move here? I think queen e7 is the move here, if I recall correctly, or at least that's what Anand played. And I don't really know how far. I don't know this game. All I know that I know that Carlsen played up to here, and I'm pretty sure that Anand played queen d6 here, maybe either queen d6 or queen e7. And I think Carlsen went for early bishop e3. And did he end up castling king side or queen side? I got no idea. If I play, okay, he plays queen e7, so this is mainline stuff. All right, and now, okay, now I think there's a branching point. I think I can play bishop e3, h3, or was there something else? Castles, maybe? Well, I think bishop g4 might be a little bit annoying. I don't know. Let's see. I think if if queen e2, bishop g4, h3 takes, that's not ridiculous by any means. Like queen e2, bishop e3, because like, okay, what the imbalance is that I have a good pawn structure and he has a bishop pair. So I feel like trading one of the bishops off really can't be that bad positionally for me. So bishop e3 would be one way to do that. Bishop e3 immediately. I think he takes. It plays knight g4. I just looked at this like an hour ago and I really can't remember it. Is it necessary to learn the? Are you talking about chess notation? Yeah, you'll pick it up extremely fast. You'll pick it up very quickly. I mean, it like for the first week where you're using chess notation, you'll have to actually like count out the letters like, oh, B3, but you'll become fluent very quickly. But yeah, it is completely necessary. Otherwise, you can't really talk about your moves to other people, let alone follow along in a book or something like that. Okay, so let me see. Where was I here? I was considering queen e2 followed by bishop e3 so that he can't take and play this knight g4. I think it looks a little silly to play knight g4 like that, but I think the idea is bishop e3 takes, knight g4, queen e2, and then they play like f6, h3, bishop or knight h6, and then come like knight f7, knight d6 possibly. I don't know if you'll find that plan. That is kind of a long plan to find. Okay, queen e2, bishop g4, I'm pretty sure is what Jan gives. Yeah, okay, Ezra. Maybe I'm not that fluent in notation, but like when I think in my head, I'll straight up, like whether I'm playing white or black, I'll always call the square that looks like this e5. Like, I guess what I mean by that is when I'm playing black, I call d4 e5 in my head 100% of the time. And I correct myself about half the time if I'm saying it out loud. But, okay. I mean, I could play the coordinates game if you wanna challenge me at coordinates game right now, Israel. Let's go. D5, E6, C5, F6, G7, E3, G7, B6, G7, D6, E5, F6, A7, E3, D4, E8, G4, F6, C1, H8, D6, F3, A2, B4, D3. Is this disrespectful to my opponent? D2, B4, H6, D2, F3, A7, E3, H6, B8, F6, E5, D7, B5. All right, 39. Beat it, Ezra. Okay. Um, what is going on? Queen e7. All right, I'm pretty much going to play queen e2 here because I want to play bishop e3. I want to trade the bishop pair. Maybe he meets it with bishop b4. Maybe I play bishop back to d2. We'll do some kind of nonsense like that. Bishop g4 is the move that is given in Jan's course. I think it just makes sense because I move my queen, so I kind of am losing it to both. I play queen e2 and then I take on f3. We'll see if he finds this idea. Yeah, and I think castle's queenside feels a little more natural. And the nice thing is that black doesn't like necessarily have any pawn breaks. Like it's the kind of position you could just sit on for a while. I don't know. Bishop e3. Maybe he plays bishop back to d6 even. I can castle kingside or queenside. I might play h3 on the next move if he doesn't play bishop g4 now. I might play h3 on the next move if he does play bishop g4 now. So maybe I should pre-play h3. Bishop g4, h3, yeah. This guy's interesting. He has a crazy high classical rating, 2277, but his blitz is only 2100. So I think this is a consequence of just like sniping everybody in the opening. Let's see. Correspond. Who plays Lichess correspondence? Bullet 2000. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Bullet is different. He could just be old and not good at Bullet. But all right, he plays bishop g4. This is what is given in Gustafsson. If I play h3, he always has this h3 g5 idea. H3 seems pretty natural. Like at least okay, I move my queen twice, sure. But he doesn't have the bishop pair anymore, which is his natural compensation for the weakened pawn structure. We're a little closer to an endgame where the pawn structure might matter. It doesn't look unreasonable for me. And I guess my other candidate move here would be bishop e3. Bishop e3, maybe bishop e4. I shouldn't be worried about that. This is a strong bishop, right? Bishop e3, bishop d6 might make more sense. If bishop e3, maybe I don't really want to trade off this bishop this much. Like I play h3 takes, then I could play bishop g5 and really mess up the pawn structure. Yeah, not really, because if you can organize f5, then who cares? All right, h3, give me the bishop pair, and then we'll figure it out. If he plays bishop h5 here, then for sure g4, because I'm not committed at all to castling kingside. I can go queenside. And I think we have definitely departed from that Carlsen game. I can't remember what Carlsen played here. Oh yeah, that was right. Vichy played queen d6 here, and then I think Carlsen played bishop e3 immediately and ended up taking on c5 even. So yeah, maybe I'll take with the g pawn. That'll really confuse him. Take with the g pawn. Actually, how ridiculous is that? Probably very ridiculous because he plays knight h5. So let's not do that. Take with the queen. Okay, so take with the queen. I mean, I don't know. I think that. I mean, if I try to think of the imbalances in the position after the trade on f3, which I think, I don't know if it's forced, but it's, I mean, bishop h5 doesn't look that great. Bishop h5, I am going to play g4, right? To just take a bunch of space. If he trades here, he does have the weakened pawn structure. And what's a positive imbalance that he got in return for that, you know? I don't know. I think, you know, now that I say it, it doesn't sound that plausible, but I think I read that the pawn structure in the exchange war Lopez is bad enough that the king and pawn endgame is losing. If you take this exact pawn structure and the kings where they are and white to play, then I think white can force a win. Somebody could fact check me on that. That doesn't actually sound correct. I think I read it on Wikipedia. But okay, it could be a weakness to play against. So I guess if he's thinking this long, then he is seriously considering bishop h5. Bishop h5, g4, break the pin, of course. Continue with bishop e3. I get my pieces out. I castle. I'm not good enough at chess to worry about anything beyond that. It does seem like kind of, I don't know, a waste to transfer your bishop from this diagonal, where it's fairly active, to this diagonal, where it's not doing really anything. Unless you have some grand plan of playing f5, maybe? That doesn't seem right. Bishop h5, g4, bishop e3, go queenside, maybe. Anything could happen. But now I'm thinking about that Anand game, and I'm thinking after bishop e3, why didn't Anand play bishop b4? Doesn't that look natural to you guys? Bishop b4. Oh yeah, by the way, if anybody is listening to this, don't type any moves in the chat, even if I do something dumb like ask a rhetorical question like, does this look good to you? It is cheating. You can ask me about politics, but not about chess moves. Okay, bishop e3, bishop b4. Okay, takes, queen takes, obviously. And I'm still considering this, so it's still worth figuring out. Bishop b4. Is it just that I don't care about getting this open b file? Like maybe even a3 takes, and b file favors me somehow? I mean, bishop should be a little better than the knight in this endgame, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm just deluding myself thinking I have something to play for here, but and should I consider bishop g5 here and double these pawns? I mean, in the endgame it looks nice, but before the endgame, the gods have placed the middle game and open g file. Yeah. What's the future for this bishop? Bishop e3. I mean, Carlsen just swapped it off like that. But then again, he still had light squared bishops on, so, and a knight on f3. Oh wait, not light squared. Black had their light squared bishop. White's light squared bishop is long gone. Okay, maybe I should try to calculate a little bit here. Oh, Ezra, I beat Ben yesterday. Was that yesterday? No, Monday. I beat Ben on Monday. So I'm proud. Maybe I'll show that game. Probably a better game than this one. Okay. I think the move that Jan gives here is bishop back to d6, which maybe tells me that there's some reason to be scared of bishop to e3. If there is such a reason, I'm not really sure what it is right now. It's a position. Like, why is he thinking for 12 minutes? I don't know. He's like calculating, trying to find good moves, crazy stuff like that. Okay, so I still really haven't decided if I want to go kingside or queenside here. I think that I'm leaning towards queenside, just because I feel like having pushed h3, maybe he wants g5, g4. Evaluating. What's an evaluating? Like with Stockfish? I don't know what that means. I just played random moves. Um, so I feel like queenside's more natural somehow. Oh, with his brain? I guess. Seems hard. Okay, bishop g5. Yeah, my brain is very muddled right now. But I think this is actually a good approximation of how I think during a tournament. Think about what you want to have for dinner. Think about your favorite color. Okay, so two pairs of doubled pawns. I mean, it's something to play for. Possibly transfer the knight e2, g3, f5. If I could get that structure. Okay, knight d7. Man, this guy really does know a lot of theory. I think knight d7 might be the main move. Does he want to play f5? He's just getting out of bishop g5 stuff, huh? Knight d7. Is he going to play knight f8? And look at this guy. He's a theory king. Okay, I looked at this like an hour ago, and I knew I was going to get this position, and I don't remember what's going on. And he, at best, has looked at this like a month ago. There's no way he knew he was going to get this position. And he finds a move. This is annoying. Okay. I guess it's good to be educated. I mean, the good news is that I'm not like worse or anything. You're surprised to see how I think. You mean how I don't think? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how do you think? What do you think that's so different? I mean, do you just straight calculate the entire time? Do you follow some like Alexander Kotov approved method? Do you think like Jeremy Silman? I don't know. I try to copy Silman sometimes. His imbalanced stuff makes sense to me, but I mean, I get distracted a lot. Okay, bishop e3. Is it something I want to do? Knight f8. It's very slow, right? Okay, what about knight e2, knight g3? If I play knight e2, I'm pretty sure that's an original idea, so he should at least be out of book. He can always just play g6 and stop me there. Bishop e3. Why am I so worried about bishop b4? I guess I just go back to d2 there. Bishop e3, bishop d6. I still have d4 ideas. And knight e2 always gives me c3 ideas too. You only calculate when you need to. Yeah, that sounds like me. I try not to calculate too much. Actually, when I was like 1800, I calculated a lot better and more often too. Like, if you look at my chess tempo rating, I used to spend a lot of time on chess tempo. I got up to like 2100 probably when I was around 1700 USCF. And if anything, my chess tempo rating has gone down. So I'm calculating worse. I'm calculating left. I'm calculating less often. I just have a little more common sense, and I think that makes up for it. But it also tells me like I could probably improve pretty easily if I started sinking some time back into tactics. So definitely on the agenda. Yeah, I can't say that guy's name because I don't know how to say it. I think it's like Ogurt, Yogurt. It's definitely not Agard. But yeah, I think he knows what he's talking about. He is a grand patzer or something. Okay, bishop e3 here. I feel like trading pieces is on principle good for me because of the pawn structure. I also feel like the knight, no, the bishop rather, maybe his bishop's a little better than my bishop. It's at least more active at the moment. Bishop e3 doesn't seem crazy. Bishop e3, and I'm prepared to just swap it off. Head for an endgame. Yeah. I guess, yeah, thinking about what I just did, what I did there really is I picked a move, bishop e3, decided I was going to play it, and then after the fact tried to come up with a positional justification for it. So that's my method. Should write a book about it. Okay, if he plays bishop b4, I go bishop d2 maybe, and then see what happens. If he goes bishop d6, I'm definitely 92 is on the agenda. c3 d4 still, right? I mean, if the knight can't go to d5, then he might as well go somewhere useful. Knight e2 is one possible way to do that. Let's see. I'd be shocked if he trades here. I don't know. I feel like my knight has somehow more scope than his knight. That might be just a wishful thinking there. The pawn structure, that's what I'll keep coming back to. If he trades pieces, then it brings me closer to a pawn structure or an endgame where I think that the pawns are bad enough that I have something to play for. I don't know if it's true. I've never really played one of these endgames as white because I've never played the Roy Lopez, let alone the delayed exchange Roy Lopez. But I mean, Fischer played these endgames, so it can't be that bad. I guess I should type some stuff in the chat because some of my teammates are watching. Well, I don't really know what to type because I don't really know what's going on. Like, I played a bunch of theory and developing my pieces, getting castled. I'm not overthinking it because I don't really know what's going on. How do I make this become a weakness? Can I really do it yet? Or do I have to wait and just try to swap pieces off? Takes here, doesn't seem right. I decided on this line because one of my teammates warned me that this guy is a huge theory nerd and that he spends like 12 hours preparing for all his games. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play something that he probably hasn't looked at in a long time that is also decent for white. That's it. And I only knew about this line because I was working through Jan Gustafsson's E5 repertoire, and I was looking at what he recommended against it. Look, I mean, reasonable. I just want to get a game. I don't know. My impression of these players who go the crazy theory route is that they sometimes they're not so strong on their own. Okay, so if I take here, I think you can get away with queen takes because of rook f8 here. But knight takes also looks reasonable. So he goes queenside. I'm inclined to go queenside too, honestly. I don't know that my chances should be any worse in an opposite side castling position. H3 is the only concern. If like rook g8 in this is possible. Yeah, Ezra said, you said I never played knight c3 online. Are you implying that I've ever played the Roy Lopez? Have I? If I do, I don't remember it. Studying a decent amount of theory. Yeah, well, I mean, it works out for him, right? He's got his rating to 2277 despite, you know, his blitz rating of 2100 implies that tactically he's not a 2300 player, you know, but he's made up for it with the opening theory. Or maybe he's just slow or hates blitz or something. I might be being unfair for him. Okay. Let's see. So he goes queenside, and I don't know. Do I have to decide yet if I want to go kingside or queenside? Is it crazy to initiate this exchange myself? Decent amount of questions here. Bishop c5, queen c5, or knight c5. It would actually be knight c5 because he wants to go knight e6 and he wants to go knight d4. And frankly, he wants to go knight f8 and knight d4 anyways, right? Do I have an antidote to that? Takes here, knight e2 possibly to play c3. Still try to come around to g3. He does play g6 there. H4? No. He plays g6 there. F5 ideas maybe. I don't know if I love this, honestly. And c3 also does weaken this pawn. Maybe that matters. I could castle queenside and wait and see what he does. Does he actually go all in on knight here? Or actually, if I castle queenside now, he probably can't play knight f8 in light of bishop c5, queen c5. I think I can grab on f7 there. Even that doesn't look that particularly safe, but okay. So if I go queenside, I guess I just have to rule out that I really ever want to go kingside, right? Kingside, I don't know. It doesn't feel that sharp despite the opposite side castling, but I could definitely envision rook g8, h5, and g5 being a problem. And his pawn structure, I keep saying it's weak. It's weak in like the king and pawn endgame sense, but I don't think it's weak in a middle game sense. Like it's not like I really have a target to attack, um, or like a pawn hook. Like, well, maybe this. Yeah. Castle's king side, queen side. Add support to this pawn, and maybe just the plan is knight e2, c3, d4. Yeah, but that opens up the position in front of my king, which seems silly. I could start with knight e2. Knight e2. Again. Well, now maybe there is knight f8 because it takes queen f7. Now we can take on c2. So knight e2, knight f8, c3, knight e6, d4. Oh, I can't play d4 yet. Oh, can I ever play d4? No, then I would be able to play takes queen f7. So maybe you ought to deal with this before embarking on knight f8 adventures. So maybe knight e2 f6, c3, knight f8. Then I should be in time for d4. Bishop e4 check. Ugh. Dang, I don't love this. Yeah, in that case, if I'm going to play for c3, d4, I really want to be kingside probably. Kingside, let's see, rook dg8. Knight e2, f6, c3, and I'm just worried about bishop b4 check stuff. Really, maybe that's not something I should be worried about. Just some king f1 there, maybe. Or even wait, knight back to c3. What am I talking about? Just knight back to c3. Okay, so I'm thinking of knight e2, trying to play c3, d4, or otherwise trying to play c3, b4, maybe. Anyways, the knight's dumb on c3. It went to c3 because it wanted to go to d5. It can't go to d5 anymore, so I better put it on a good square. I don't think that this is the craziest move in the world. Wait, all of a sudden I'm thinking about f5. No, silly. All right, so if he wants to continue with the thematic plan, I think it would be f6, knight f8, knight e6. I do cover these two squares that the knight wants to go to. Anything's possible. What's my chess.com handle? It's the same. I don't play a lot on chess.com though. I mainly use it to do this stream for my job where all the students at the chess academy I work at could challenge the coaches. So probably see a lot of games of me playing 900s. I'm up 6 minutes on time. That's good. Knight g3, knight f5 would be so nice. You know what? Maybe actually that was the reason why I shouldn't be scared of g5, right? Because if he ever really plays g5, I can now play knight g3, knight f5. It could be interesting. I mean, knight e2 seems non-committal. Like maybe I want to play c3, d4. Maybe I want to do nothing. Maybe I want to play knight g3, knight f5. It's a contest to see who can commit the least. I guess the only thing I really excluded for myself with that move was knight a4, but that doesn't seem that impressive. Yeah, so hopefully we get to some endgame where I have a lot of time and I can try to Magnus him. We'll see. I love playing slow players. There's nothing better than being up on time. especially if your position is reasonable. Now I'm just thinking that I blundered a pawn though. Uh-oh. Did I blunder a pawn? Look at this. Queen b4 check. C3, take here, castles kingside. Call it a gambit. We will call that a gambit for sure. Because with rook here coming, that would be a very like miserly pawn grab. I don't think he's greedy enough to go for that, but it's possible. Take here, queen takes, queen b4 check, pawn c3, queen takes b2, castles. Rook b1 is. Oh, I don't think you can get away with this. It seems wrong. I have queen a7 ideas for crying out loud, right? Yeah. Okay. Hopefully he spends a lot of time calculating that and then plays it. I didn't even notice the possibility though. I was talking about how non-committal knight c3 is, but it does open up this check possibility. But yeah, in that case, I'll just go kingside and I'll use the open file. I'm not scared of that at all. Something to watch out for in the future though. If I don't play c3 on the next move. If I do play c3, it should shut it down. But all right, let's see what he wants to do here. I'm expecting pawn f6. I mean, it makes a lot of sense both in like g5 terms and in just making the tactics work to play knight f8, knight e6. Gets rid of bishop g5 stuff. Not that bishop g5 was ever any huge threat here. We'll see. We're staying flexible. I could go either way. Could play in the center or not. See what happens. Okay, he plays f6. Let's see. If I play knight g3 here, he probably has to play g6, right? But I don't think that g6 is any great concession for him to make, really. So c3 is c3, knight f8, d4, takes. This clearly favors me, right? I just get a free game there, right? Like bishop b4 check, knight back to c3. I'm well developed. I have two pawns in the middle. Can I be? No, I can't be a big deal, right? I get to play c3, d4, but I'm doing all of this before I castle, right? If I castle first, well, what? I guess I have to stop being so abstract. Is there anything concretely wrong with me doing this before I castle? If not, I can do it. If so, I better castle. Okay, so c3, let's see, he goes for the slow plan, slowish at least. Knight f8, d4, takes. You can even take with a piece there. I can even take with a knight there, which might be quite reasonable because I'm threatening knight f5 then. And on an f6, and I go queenside there. Yeah, maybe I'll play c3, d4, and capture the piece. Well, guess what? If I want to do that, I should play d4 now, right? D4 takes, capture this way. No, wait, that gives him knight e5. Ugh, okay, I definitely want to wait for the knight to be on f8 before I really consider taking with a piece. I don't want to walk into knight e5. Oh, maybe I could do a kind of greedy pawn grab. Queen g4 check in here after trading this. That seems a little bit suspect, though. That's not even a pawn grab. He just has rook g8. Well, he doesn't have rook g8 if the knight's on f8. Apparently, he mostly plays longer games. Yeah, I know, but like, it's a big disparity. Like 2100 blitz to me says that you're rated 2000 USCF, And 2300 classical on Lichess tells me that you're rated like probably like 2300 USCF. I don't know. I say that doesn't actually make any sense considering my own rating because I'm 2180. I don't know. I think like if I go play a million USCF games, I'm probably like 2060, honestly. I don't know. Maybe there's no real disparity. It just seems like his classical rating is too high for his blitz rating. I mean, I know classical rating tends to be inflated, but it's not really that inflated once you get over like 2000, 2100. Yeah, like, okay, if you're like 1400 blitz, then you're probably 1800 classical or something ridiculous like that, or 16, 1700. But there's like a ceiling. Like, let's investigate. I have a game going on. I know I have a game going on. Community leaderboard. There we go. Yeah, look at these. Okay, there's some people who are crazy outliers, but like the top 100 is in the 2200s, right? It's just not that inflated. Like a bunch of NMs rated around probably exactly what their USCF rating is. So I don't know. I think it's not so easy. I have no idea how this guy got to 2600. I think he must do something crazy. Like he might only play in tournaments and berserk every game he plays or something ridiculous like that. But I don't think you can climb that high in the 45 league. I don't know. My other data point is chess.com. There's a series where Simon Williams was trying to get to like 2400 classical, and he like peaked at like 1900 before he gave up. There's just not enough decent players who play classical for you to really grind the rating up. But okay, that guy's 2600, so maybe that doesn't apply so much to Lichess. All right, so I've given up my time advantage talking about nonsense and ratings, and I'm not going to play d4, so maybe I should just play c3. Man, this is such a waste of time. I could have played c3 10 minutes ago if that's what I'm going to play. c3, what is the downside of c3? If I really am going to play d4, which it somewhat commits me to, because otherwise this guy is just weak if I never plan to break in the center with d4, then maybe I don't want to be queenside. Castle queenside first? Yeah. Castle queenside first and just try to play this with a piece instead of with a with pawn support. Is c3 d4 even a standard pawn break in the Roy Lopez exchange? I don't know. Don't answer that if you're in the chat. Don't answer that. It's a rhetorical question. I have no idea. Kind of gives them a target on d4, doesn't it? Yeah, so I think my idea of c3, if knight f8, then I play d4 and I recapture the piece. That looks pretty reasonable. I recapture the piece if he takes here. But c3, not knight f8. Well, what else does he play, really? c3... c3... Yeah, like, does he just wait? Does he start lashing out g5, h5? Okay, c3. And I should have played it a very long time ago, because that was a really long time to play a pretty obvious move. Yeah. I can't even read your name. Party somebody. I think that's a typical rating disparity for your level. Like 1800 blitz, 2000 classical sounds right. But like mine is right around, I have pretty much, yeah, 2198 blitz, 2183 classical. Don't look at my bullet rating, because my last few bullet games did not go my way. I need to play faster. It's ridiculous. I think it's because I'm talking to you jokers. I'm usually such a fast player. Because my logic is like, it's not like I'm going to find a good move, so I might as well be up on time, right? That can go too far, though. There was one time when I was playing in the U.S. Amateur Team East, and I attempted something called the delay-only challenge, which is where you're playing a game with 5-second delay, and you try to finish the game with the exact time that you started on, so making all your moves in 5 seconds or less. And I thought this was reasonable because I was playing at 1200, but I got a lost position in like 15 moves probably, so then I had to slow down a lot. And I ended up getting the end game. He was just trying to make a draw, thankfully, because that's like 2000 or something. And we got the endgame like rook in 3 versus rook in 3. And don't ask me how, but I won somehow. I feel like I told that story. I only have like 2 stories. And Ben Snodgrass, I've also seen him win the same endgame. He's also won rook in 3 versus rook in 3 versus a 1700 because the 1700 traded rooks and then immediately miscalculated the king and pawn endgame. Like, come on, guys, don't never ever go into king and pawn endgames. That's the first rule of king and pawn endgames. Okay, so if knight f8, d4 takes, and I'm thinking knight takes, maybe eyeing that f5 square. g6, yeah. Could this pawn become weak? The e4 pawn? It could. Let's see. Knight f8, d4 takes, knight takes. Weak. You know, it's not weak. I'm just gonna lose it, right? Here. I could have like maybe something totally crazy. Queen f5 check and oh wait. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even wait. A tactic? Is this an idea? Let me see. Knight f8, d4 takes. Oh, what am I talking about? It's protected by the queen too. It was never a tactic. Okay. Knight f8, d4 takes, and I'm thinking knight takes here. And then rook e8. And then I might have to play queen g4 check. King b1 f3, which doesn't look that great for the survival of my queen. Almost trapped, in fact. But you probably have to burn into one on pawn g3. And then, oh, my queen is really not well placed at all. I have this idea now. With the king on b1, maybe there could be a tactic there. Oh yeah, so I go queen f5 check instead, king b1. Then I have knight c6. So maybe this works tactically. Let me check this. Knight f8 d4 takes rook e1 actually is not playable. Queen f5 check. You'd have to block with the knight. Okay, he trades. All that thinking for nothing. My goodness. So if he traded a long time ago, obviously the plan was to take with the queen. I'm thinking of taking with the pawn. d4. I mean, it just really like positionals this knight, right? Now his idea is knight c5, hitting this pawn or something, right? So maybe I better take with the queen. So knight c5 can be bent with d4. This looks reasonable for me. I'm not at all unhappy with this. I mean, I think yeah, I said a long time ago I felt like his bishop was more useful than mine. So let me see. Okay, f takes e5. It looks like it's just probably a blunder because of knight d5 or knight c5 rather. Knight c5, c4. I don't know. If nothing else, you could check on d3 and take on b2. Let me draw that with arrows so that it counts. Nothing counts unless you draw with arrows. All right, takes knight c5, d4, knight d3, and take here maybe. Otherwise, how to defend this pawn? I don't see any way to defend this pawn. Knight c1. No, it's attack 2 times and defended 0 times. Okay, so let me just blunder check. Taking on e3, knight c5. Now this can be met with either rook d1 or castles if necessary, or d4. Let's assume d4. Takes, knight c5, d4, takes. Drops this. Okay. Here, knight c5. Well, I don't want to play knight b1. Rook d1 there. Okay, well, let me just make sure the alternative is ridiculous. Like this, even losing a pawn under these circumstances is probably better than in the other line. So takes knight c5. This is just completely absurd. Like I'm guaranteed to lose a pawn, at least, right? Takes knight c5, d4 has got to be the critical line. Check. Here, I don't see any reason why you can't grab this and then come back out with knight c4 check. Okay, so queen takes knight c5. I don't have d4, unfortunately, because e4 would fall, which means I'm kind of limited to either knight c1, which I'm probably not going to play, or rook d1, or castles. Castle seems all of a sudden very loosening. So rook d1 commits me to the king side, where still exists this plan. Okay, but I mean, usually you can calculate your way out of this, right? Like, this is not just automatically lose just because he gets a pawn storm. Okay, well, okay, I'm gonna have to play queen takes e3 and then think. Queen takes e3 and think, and yeah, I definitely didn't see. You know, I guess I saw in abstract terms. I thought, wow, this pawn becomes weak. But I mean, if I had really, you know, been objective, critical, I definitely would have then turned that thought into, okay, how does black try to attack my weakness? So there you go, amateur's mind for you. A better player definitely, as soon as they thought the thought, oh, pawn c3 undefends the d pawn, they would have thought, okay, so if I were black, how would I try to target the d pawn? And I didn't really take that seriously. So I missed an idea from my opponent, which might work, it might not, but either way, it's something that I should have considered before playing c3. So, okay, so I missed something. What's new? After knight c5, am I going to castle queenside, or am I going to play rook d1? Or is there anything at all to be said for knight c1, then trying to kick the knight out with b4? What's weird, that's something to be said for it. Doesn't technically lose a tempo if I get to play b4, knight d7, knight back to e2, then it's kind of just like nothing happened, right? No, that pawn is like permanently weak. It's not good. I do need to try to force through d4, I think, if I don't just want a weakness forever on my hands. Let's see. I'm considering if I'm going to have to play f3 to support the e-pawn before I play d4. Could lead to some dark squared weaknesses if the queen gets to like h4. Could also kind of give them a huge target to play h5, g5, g4 against. Knight c5 castles queenside. Why does it look so wrong to me? Because it definitely does. It looks very strange. Maybe knight a4? Knight a4. Maybe I don't castle. Maybe I play rook d1 and f3 king f2 instead. That's going to walk right into queen h4 check, maybe. Oh my goodness. I was so non-committal that I went ahead and non-committed myself to being able to castle because I delayed it for so long. And now I'm looking at f3 king f2. All right, my opponent is out for lunch, it looks like. All right, whatever it is, I should play it quickly. I need to decide on my response to knight c5 and play it quickly if I want any hope of being up on time here. Knight c5, rook d1 is very committal, very committal. Knight c5, rook d1, and I want to play b4, kick the knight and play d4. And maybe play b4 and a3. Rook d1, knight c5. No, knight c5, rook d1. He plays pawn c5. Pawn c5, really? Pawn c5. Pawn c5. I guess his idea is I don't really want to play d4 just because he gets his knight to e5. I'm definitely not unhappy to see this, though. What's up, BS Chess? Is that 1100 FIDE Ben Snodgrass himself? think it is. No, are you 1,200 FIDE now, Ben? Did you get your rating up? Yep, I was gonna say. Okay, so I don't really know what's going on here. After pawn c5, this is weak. d4 takes, knight takes, knight e5, knight f5. I guess he even has knight d3 check there if he wants it. Okay, but does he have like a long-term plan to play against the pawn? If I can just play like rook d1 now or later. And why am I so attracted to playing f4 to try to keep his knight out of e5 the hard way? b4 takes, queen a7. Whoa. This is weakened. This is weakened. Yeah, Ben, why don't you stream? Even Mark streams. Actually, does Mark still stream? Okay. I feel like this makes me, more receptive to going kingside. Because I feel like I have some b4 idea now. So going kingside can't really be that bad. I certainly don't want to play b4 before I castle. All right, castles. Let me see if I'm really threatening this. Knight f8, b4, takes, queen takes, rook b8, and what? Queen a6 or something? I don't know. Queen a7. Come on. There's something there. There's something there. I'm going to go, well, okay, kingside. What's his plan if he just wants to, like, pancake me on the kingside? You play g5 immediately. You start with h5. So castles, h5. And maybe rook b1. Right? Tear open the b file and kind of get at him that way. So let's see. In the long term, if he plays h5 and g4, at the moment I could play h4 and lock everything down. So he'd have to play f5 first at some point, probably. f5, for now I take it. His attack's not that fast, right? All right, let's see. You guys could tell me if I'm getting crushed on the king side here. I'm going for it. I feel like the c5, it kind of gives me a hook. It makes me more optimistic about my chances in the opposite side castling position, and it certainly makes me feel worse about trying to force through d4. So it seems pretty reasonable. Okay, plays g5. It's definitely legal. But now, holy heck, knight g3, knight f5. Right? This can't be right. And he takes... This is like the magic distance where the knight takes 700 years to get there. Right? Come on, knight f5, white must be better. There's no reality in which you can play knight f5 and not be better, right? And he never plays h5, meaning that g4 is always met by h4. Right? So now forget b4. I'm putting my knight on f5. That looks good. Knight g3. Knight f5, next move. And if his kingside attack is locked down with this knight f5 move, then I can take all the time in the world to build up on the queen side. I suddenly like my chances a lot. I like my chances a lot. Okay. Azure, don't tell me if the plan is solid. That's cheating. No cheat. I'm gonna have to not look at the chat. Like I'm sure it's gonna happen. Some random person is gonna come on the stream, copy paste some 12 move stockfish line, and then I'm gonna have to not look at the chat anymore. We're cheating. But I mean, in fairness, my opponent could just be listening to the stream right now, which would also be cheating. I assume they're not, but No. That's what I said. Even if I ask, like, it's just a rhetorical question. Like when you're playing chess, like ask yourself a question, right? I don't know. But yeah, don't. Especially if I ask, don't tell me. I can blunder enough on my own. Yeah, it's fine, Ezra. It's not really that big of a deal. It's not the world championship, but I don't know if my opponent somehow found out and got pissed and complained to the Lichess 45 guys, then all my teammates would be mad at me. So. Okay, so I think that g5 is a mistake because it gives me f5, and that's where the game is right now. I'm a little bit up on time. I'm feeling good. This guy has never lost in the 45-45 league, uh, this season at least. Let me see if he's ever lost. Oh, this is gonna completely mess up the formatting. You guys aren't gonna be able to see anything. Let me if I do that. There we go. Here he is. 20. Okay. Oh, weird. He got good all of a sudden. His career score is 26 out of 42. So I guess. Well, that's still like plus 10 actually. What am I saying? That is a very good score. And his score this time is 5.5 out of 6, which is actually ridiculous. Including he beat a FM at some point. So he's pretty good. But I think that he's just theorying everybody. Actually, is this team winning? How are these guys doing? I have no idea. Okay, formatting's too messed up. Let's look at this. I assume that that knight g3 surprised him. That's good. All right, so now I feel justified whenever I put my knight on e2, which is a whole 3 moves ago. I was like, I'm being flexible. Maybe I'll play c3 d4. Maybe I'll still do this. Justified in hindsight. Yeah, 5.5 out of 6 is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Especially if you're playing an FM. Like, that's like, okay. h5, yeah, but okay. Play g5 and watch how fast I play h4. Okay, put my knight on f5. Why not? Don't think too hard about it. Like, what's the attack? Are you going to play h4 first and then play g4? h4, maybe I play f3. Right? Heck, maybe h4, g4, I take it. All right, now I'm getting carried away. I told you FM is nothing. Well, if I told you that, it's probably because I was about to play an FM and I was trying to hype myself out. Under what context did I tell you an FM is nothing? FMs are good, man. They're a lot better than me. They beat me as bad as I beat like a 1400 probably. Don't do the rating math on that. It's just the psychological imbalance. Oh, when you lost to Jokan Dukin. Wow, that was pretty rude of me. I was downplaying the guy you lost to? Or did I tell you that before to hype you up? Or did I tell you that afterwards to be like, you lost him? FMs aren't even good. Because I also got crushed by Johan Dukin, and so did Ben. If I told you that before, then it wasn't that bad. Because I was just trying to make you feel better about having to play an FM. Yeah, Dukin's good. He crushed me in the Scotch game. I just got pancaked. After? Okay, well, I apologize. That was rude. Shouldn't have said that. Okay, so yeah, b4, a4, rook b1. I mean, is he going to play h4, g4? Looks like the only way for him to try to break through here. Especially about Dukin, because he's 2,400 FIDE. Like, probably the only reason he's not an international master is that he never played outside of Russia, you know? You were better. Was that the game? What did you play? Was that a Benoni? No, I'm thinking of Garrett Allen's game. Garrett Allen was actually much better against Dukin too. But like these guys, like you can be better against them. The problem is they just never make that final blunder, and then at the second you do, they just jump on it. You know, I was saying to Ben yesterday, like I think like 2400s just don't really miss tactics. You know, I mean they miss them to Carlsen, but they don't miss them to us. But yeah, I believe you're better because I also saw Garrett Allen, who's like 1900. He was actually a good bit better against him. I was never better. I was just getting crushed. Okay, so I guess he wants to play h4 first and then play, but no, h4 first. I play f3, and this weakness is not a weakness, right? So yeah, my plan. Oh my goodness, b4 right now, right? This is looking very good for me. This is looking very good for me. I have tactical possibilities. I have targets. You don't really have counterplay. I'm very happy about this. If you play h4, I play f3. So I just have to make sure I don't mess this up basically, because I'm pretty sure I can win. Okay, do I put this rook on b1? Even after game, he said I thought he played well up until he blundered. Well, yeah, that's how it happens. You play well until you blunder. I actually played him twice. Yeah, the first game I was in the game the whole time, and then just like you, we got to time pressure, and then I started hanging everything, and he stopped hanging everything. Yeah, he seems sometimes he can play some really offbeat stuff in the opening, but like he's just solid enough tactically that what does it matter? His score since he came to North Carolina is absolutely ridiculous. Look him up on USCF. His score is like 35 wins and 1 draw or something like that. And he might have lost a game to a 2700 when he played in the Game 60 U.S. Championship, but I'm pretty sure his score is like 30 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss or something. And one of the wins is over Grandmaster Elshan Moradi Abadi, who had like maiden 3 against him and instead got mated in 3. It was pretty funny. Okay. Well, it wasn't funny for Elshan. He was actually a little distraught afterwards. All right, I need to figure out the correct way to continue my attack. If I want to play b4, continue my attack, start my attack. Okay, b4. I'm threatening to take here. Probably don't want to let me do that because I play c6 next. I mean, my goodness, this looks good. I think the tide is suddenly turned, right? b4. If you take it, I could think about rook b1, or maybe this rook to b1. Takes queen here. What? Let me see. Then knight b6. Knight b6. It's got a little complicated. Queen 8. Okay, b4 takes. Maybe I take this way. Put a rook on c1. If I put a rook on c1, I'm also threatening this. This is always an idea, right? b4. Okay, it looks promising. Is there another candidate move that I really have? I could play rook b1 first to answer b4 with rook takes b4 if they take. Then this seems like it would be a huge threat. Knight b6. Well, still, what's the plan after knight b6? Rook b1, assuming even if I get to play rook b1 and b4, takes, rook b4. Knight b6 does hold things together for now. b4 takes. Knight b6. Now rook c1, king b8. Maybe a4 to try to drive the knight away. b4 takes, and just try to put the rook on c1. What's so crazy about that? That doesn't seem that crazy. I mean, possibly you could say that this is going to become loose, this pawn here. But I can always protect it. With my rook on c1, I have rook c3 and rook here, which is a very logical, attacking positional idea as well. So I'm going to start with b4 here. Start with b4. Didn't really consider c4. Interesting. Whoa, the c4 thing? I can get my knight here then. It can't be bad. It's even better than f5. It's like f5 on steroids. d5. Actually, it's significantly worse than f5 because it could be kicked with c6. So maybe I don't want to do that. c4 takes, just take with pawn and play d5 next, and maybe play b5 to support it. No, b5, a4. I don't know. The moral of the story here is that I have a lot of options, and he doesn't have an attack on the king side, right? So I'm kind of in the driver's seat no matter what happens. You can go over here. I still play g3. G3 is not a bad move for me at all. H4, G4, knight here. All right, I say that, but it's suddenly become annoying. Well, he can't. He at least can't do this yet. That's my solace. And if he takes, I'll have to think a while. Am I going to play rook b1? Am I going to recapture? Options, options, options. I'm happy with this position. Okay, wow, really? I didn't even realize that was legal. Takes here. Ooh, man. That's really legal. D4. Takes, takes. Takes. D5. Maybe A4, A5. A4. Takes, takes. This can't be bad. P6. Just feels like it's so opening up. So opening up. A4 takes, takes. Well, now, yeah, now you're going to run into a problem called the A pawn is hanging. A4. How do you continue your attack? I don't know. Let's play some generic attacking moves. Rook G8, A5. I'm threatening to take here and take the A pawn. So what? Maybe takes and takes. But now Rook C8. If you ever trade here, I play Rook C1 as planned. Doesn't seem bad for me. B5 is nothing. Okay, maybe more acceptable for him to take now. Let me think. Maybe I start with Rook C1, just so that takes is really ruled out. Certainly not going to take here. D4 doesn't seem right. Still gives him E5. How do I continue? A4, Rook G8, A5, takes, takes, and what? Still kind of threatening this. Or maybe takes, takes. Giving me the B file doesn't seem that conducive to your long-term health, especially if you don't have knight B6. Alright, let's go A4. Make sure I'm not blundering anything. Queen B3 maybe? A4, Queen B3. That seems a little ridiculous. Because I would just play rook here, right? You can't be scared of that nonsense. But I am. I definitely am. Let's start rook C1. Maybe king B7. A4, king B7 here. A4, king B7 here. Maybe idea of rook A8. Takes, knight takes, D4. Takes, takes. Knight to E6 possibly. How playable is this really? Yeah, takes, knight takes, D4 takes, takes. This actually could end in disaster quickly, right? If I just start with rook C1, then takes, takes. No. It was never that takes. It was knight takes, D4 takes, takes. And now, so does not seem right. 96. I want to have something disastrous on b6 for you. I don't know if I have it yet. E6, d5, knight f4. Dang. d5, knight f4. Take, knight e2, king h1. Takes, takes. I mean, I'd be surprised if I didn't have a draw there. Is that enough to actually go for that? Sacking the exchange. Kind of unclear circumstances. Rook c1. Because I can... Let me see. You know what? Actually, I don't think this is right anymore. Rook c1, even if I take here, d4, they could play 96 immediately. Right? So let's not do their job for them. Let's not take here. Because now this is also restricting them from being able to play knight f8, which is a reroute that they want. Okay, so back to a4, queen b3, rook c1, takes, takes, and takes. Completely ridiculous pawn grab. Is there something such as this? Rook here, you kind of have to cover the d6 square, otherwise I have this winning the exchange. So queen goes perhaps to... Well, it can't go a3 anymore. So we have to actually go all the way back. That's something. Queen goes back here. Rook c8. c5. Let's see. Rook c1, c5. Oh, it's so loose. a4, queen b3. I just trade here. Takes. No, that doesn't seem right. How can I not refute a4, queen b3? Like, this is the most ridiculous thing ever. a4, queen b3. Rook c1, takes, takes. Here. I really should have some tactic there. Like, let me see. Maybe I have rook here, and then I could take on b6. Let me check if I did the math on that right. So it's not gonna play queen b3. It's ridiculous. a4, queen b3, rook c1, takes, takes, queen takes, rook b1 takes, and then I could maybe crash through here. God. Okay, a4, queen b3. Just give me a bailout option that doesn't lose a pawn. I'll settle for that now. a4, queen b3. Ugh. Start with rook b1. Rook b1. If your attack is as slow as I keep insisting it is, then this shouldn't be a problem, right? a4, a5. Let's go for rook b1. I'm going for rook b1 for a silly reason, which is that I cannot find a solution to playing queen b3, which no, rook b1. Maybe this will become weak now. Rook b1 96 is still not a threat. Hopefully, God willing. Let's continue with b1. Okay. Burned a lot of time on that and probably made a bad move at the same time. Not good. Not good. I mean, I don't think the fundamentals of the position have changed that much, which is that I have an attack and you don't. So hopefully slow play is acceptable here. a4, a5. We got to try to crash through here. King b7 could be one way to try to hold everything together. But then that would rock right into taking here. Rook fd1. All right, hopefully he's feeling a little bit of pressure here. Hopefully he blunders. That'd be nice. Whew. Oh my. All right. Yeah, I mean the good news is it's his turn. He has to find a move here. And king I've unintentionally, come up with a good idea, which is to exclude king to the b file on account of this pinning business here, rook b1. This could be good because king b8, king b7, these are a natural way to try to get the rook to a8, hold back my attack. So still the plan is a4. I mean, nothing, the fundamentals have not changed here, right? I'm still going to meet, g4 with h4. Still going to meet h4 with f3, right? Which means that at the end of the day, his attack deserves to fizzle out, and mine deserves to win, I think. So, let's see what happens. Truffle. Shan, throw me the treats so I can show the stream my cat. There's another way. I'm sure there was. I'm sure after the game, I'd put queen b3 in the engine, and it's gonna be like +10, stupidest move ever. Like it's such an anti-positional move, but I really couldn't see it. All right. Here's my cat. Ben has already met because while Ben was playing the match, this guy came on the table repeatedly. Ben, are you still there? I have two, but this is the one I'm feeding right now. So. It says he's lurking. What? I can see that. Okay, I can't see anything because of the cat now. Any logical move against queen b3. Yeah, I was probably freaking out for nothing. I like to do that. Let's move this guy. All right, now you have to give him more treats because he's excited. Okay, but I mean, it's not like rook b1's a ridiculous move. It's a little. I mean, it's probably where the rook belongs objectively, either there or on c1. And on rook c1, I didn't see a way to force open the c file really, because he's, not under any obligation to trade. Basically, after I trade here, he doesn't have to play take on d4. He could probably just play knight e6 immediately. And then, if the c file's not open, then this pin doesn't really matter. Maybe the rook is a little silly on c1. This will be good. I'm going to be very happy if I can beat this guy after he started 5.5 out of 6. My score is not quite as good. My score, I might be equal, honestly. Let me see. Yeah, my score is 3 out of 6. I was doing good, and then I got completely crushed in the last round by some guy who played the Jobava London system. That was not good. Other than that, what other game did I lose? I lost this game in the Italian just because I got way too low on time. This game, can't even remember this game. I'm blocking it out now. What game is this? E45. Oh, Marshall. Yeah, I checkmated him in the Marshall. That was good. This game, I was way worse, and then I made a draw, right? E46. Yeah, that was some terrible French exchange. Did not go very well. This draw was where? Semi-Slav. Okay, so I played a lot of games. The Jobava is tough, yeah. It's very tricky. Okay, he plays c4, a move which, in my opinion, reeks of desperation. I mean, come on, c4? d4 is my logical response. c4, I mean, what does he want to take this? He doesn't want to take this and give me access to a6, right? And there could be tactical opportunities too. Because if I take, he gives me e7. I don't know if I can do anything with it. e7, no. There's no magic way to win an exchange there. Even though there should be. Knight d6, also a possibility now. If ever I can take on b6. I don't think you really want to take. You're going to take there and what? How are you going to cover this? You're going to play king b7? Nah. a4, b5, a4. I guess his idea is if he just gets this pawn structure, you know, what do I really have to break through, right? I could take knight e7 and knight d5 actually. Yeah, I mean, I do love the knight being on f5, you know. The knight on f5 is my favorite piece in the world. But let's see, if so, if we do get a pawn structure replays like b5, and I have queen a7 stuff combined with the knight on d5, that should surely be good for me, right? So I don't think I have to do this yet, unless he's really gonna, like if I play a4, then I think I've at least excluded him taking, and playing b5. Yeah, that'd be absurd, most likely. But I'm not necessarily gonna play a5 myself yet. Okay, let's start with a4 here. I do have to move a little bit faster. Yes, I also got my queen trapped in the Jobava immediately after by Ezra. So I have some respect for it because I get crushed every time I play it. Yeah, there's some of those openings where like you know they're theoretically not supposed to be good, but you lose to them every single time, and you haven't really figured out why they're not good. The Jobava is one of them for me. Yeah, even I played a game against the 1700, who's even a student at the chess academy where I work, and he played the Jobava and got a completely winning position against me, and then offered a draw, which was pretty good. Was that a Jobava? Maybe it was a normal one. Okay, he plays king b7. Why didn't I think of this move? Did I think of this move? a5 here. No. Takes, a5 here. Maybe he holds it together. I didn't conduct this attack with the most alacrity here. b5, probably a5. d4? d4, d5? d4 takes. Knight takes, still knight e5. I mean, takes, and knight e7. And knight e5 is what I want, right? Maybe you could even play this then. Huh, how do I crash through here? Equalish. Everything's equalish. Okay. I don't have a ton of time here. My rooks become kind of misplaced here. I kind of want to go takes, and then rook back to d1. Does the knight belong on takes, rook back to d1? That's not so crazy, is it? Or maybe just rook back to d1. Take with the rook. Yeah, let's go rook back to d1. Yeah, if this sequence seems unusual to you to put your rook on b1 and then go back to d1, it's probably just that I'm, a positional genius. So yeah, the rook is on d1. It's better than it is on b1 if it's gonna go here. I don't know. Maybe rook b1 was a silly move from the beginning. Probably. I'm not calculating very hard in this game. It usually works out, but every once in a while you get a position where you actually should calculate, and then you get hosed. All right, so I put my rook back on b1. I probably wasted a lot of time, but surely it's better on d1 than it was on b1 because this queen side is not opening up. So now at least I can continue with my maybe d4, but most likely take here and put something on d5. Maybe double up on the d file. And it's not a position where we're going to checkmate each other, hopefully, but definitely, white should be better there if I have control of the d file. He probably doesn't have to let me do all that, but it'd be awfully nice if he did. And I need to really speed up here. Okay, so knight f8 certainly possible here. Takes. That could be an opportune moment for that. Takes here, and gosh, maybe rook d8 there. Might be too ambitious. Rook d8. Okay, he plays h4. His plan is g4. I said I was going to play f3 here. Can I allow him to play g4? Not in particular, so I will, as promised, play f3. Without too much regard for how that weakens my king side to maybe this maneuver. Okay, so back to calculating knight f8. Takes, queen takes. No, not queen takes. Knight f8 takes, take here, now queen takes. And gosh, what do I have to show for it, really? The problem is that, like, the knight wants to be on d5, but that doesn't really mesh well with my rook wanting to be on the d file. Maybe I should play rook here first, which is definitely tactically a little bit loose. Then I try to play knight d5. It's something. It's something. Knight f8. Any of these loosening moves on the queen side any good? I could play a5 first, perhaps, so that I have a queen c5 idea. Knight f8, a5, b5. Queen c5, probably not immediately. d4. Yeah, maybe that's the ticket, actually. Maybe if he plays knight f8, I just have this d4 idea, because now he doesn't get the knight to e5 immediately. I can't remember why I thought that was such a big deal, but it was. Rest assured. Knight f8. Let me see. Do I play? So I just play d4 right away after knight f8. Knight f8, d4. Knight e6. Takes. Probably takes. And yeah, g5 is not hanging because the knight on e6. Let's see. I want knight d6 tactic to work, right? Maybe I start with a4. Knight f8, d4, knight e6. Didn't really think about this too much. Should have, possibly. Maybe d5, knight f4, a5, b5, queen c5? Is that making any progress? No. Probably not. I look like I have no idea who that is. I'm going to Google that in another tab. A Lebanese singer, writer, composer, and music arranger. Let's see. Yeah, this guy's like 100, dude. This guy's like 53 years old. I have no idea where you even met. This, really? Or this? Not even close, man. Not even close. Okay. Okay, so knight f8. At least I have these options, right? At least I have options. If I play b5, at least this pawn is a little bit stranded. Maybe, yeah, that actually could be something. If he never plays b5 by himself, then like for example, knight f4 or knight f8, d4, knight e6, d5, knight f4, b5. No, oh my goodness, he gets to knight d3. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I believe that most people have a doppelganger statistically. I believe that. But that one is not mine. Okay, this could be more problematic than I actually realized because if I push d4, I give him d3 square, which this knight could really get in there and mess me up. Maybe I just sack that exchange though. Maybe that's not so ridiculous. Maybe. Knight f8, d4, knight e6. Queen e2? No, then knight f4. Dang. d4. Okay, let's see. d4, knight f8. Oh, queen e2 now? Just hitting that pawn. And threat possibly d5. Yeah, it's a little sketchy. It's definitely a little bit sketchy. You play b5 though. I don't think that ends well for you. Knight f8, d4. Oh wait, I played 2 moves in a row for myself. Oh, okay. This is the line I give. I give knight f8, d4, queen e2. That would be better for me, I think. Okay, but unfortunately, by the time I play d4, his next move is knight e6, and then queen e2 is not possible. Well, at least that tells me if he doesn't play knight f8, maybe I have an idea of d4, queen e2. Gotta teach me how to do that. Play 2 moves at once. You have to get as soon as your rating gets above 2,000, then in emergency situations you can play 2 moves at once. Or you could just pay FIDE like 99.99 and unlock it early. But oh boy. Okay, so if he does not play knight f8, I think that this idea of d4 queen e2 could actually be pretty annoying. And well, if he doesn't play knight f8, in fact, I should play d4 simply because I can play d5 and exclude him from ever coming to e6. Which maybe makes me think I should have played d4 on this move. But then I would have had to deal with all the g4 stuff. So, okay, I think that knight f8 is virtually forced for him. That sounds strong, but I think it might be true because otherwise I can get d4, d5, and he can't come to e6, and then queen e2 is gonna pick up this pawn, I think, because b5 doesn't seem that reasonable. b5 I guess could be possible if you combine it with rook a8. I might be getting ahead of myself. Yeah, if he plays rook a8 here, then maybe that's not so ridiculous. But I could still play b5 myself, right? Maybe yeah, maybe rook a8, b5, and try to strand this pawn. Does he take it? Takes. I'm happy with that, I think. Am I happy if he wants to trade everything? Heck, maybe I am. The dude's got 5 minutes left. I'm surprised I haven't blundered anything yet. Still in the game. Still better, in fact, I hope. At least I feel better. Okay, so he takes. I retake with the rook, obviously. Now knight f8 is dubious. And if rook takes d8, I have an easy. My next few moves are not going to be that hard to find. And yeah, rook d1 and try to get the knight around to d5 possibly. Okay, you can play that if he really just wants to trade everything. Um, I feel pretty much at peace with getting a free D file though, right? I mean, let me see. Is there any crazy idea here? A5, B5. Yeah, I mean, this is the obvious move. Takes and queen takes, thus securing a D file for posterity. Knight c6 met with b5, I hope. Rook d1 takes, queen takes. Knight c6, b5. So maybe b5, no, not b5 yourself. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this. Rook d1. I'll recapture with the queen. And there's one imbalance in the position. It's a d file, and I have complete control over it. Therefore, I'm better. Positional play is easy. It's good. I kind of thought I was just going to get a theoried in this game, so I'm happy that that didn't happen. I also have some queen d5, which actually is not that ridiculous to go into that endgame, because again, I have a file and you don't, right? So what else do you want? What else could you want in life? Okay, so knight c6 here. The plan is b5. Keep your knight out of c6 and make sure that you can't control d8 with your rook. And short of knight c6, rook d8, I don't really see a plan for you to fight back on the d file. I think I just have a free d file. And yeah, what else is there to say? I'll play queen d5 if I feel like I'm being threatened or something. I think it should be pretty risk-free. Walk the king up to e3. I have an open file. I mean, I feel like this is the kind of game that like Rubinstein won all the time, right? Or Carlsen or any of those types of players. I have a better knight. I have a better rook. I have a better king. It's winnable. Not saying it's winning, just winnable. These pawns look juicy. King so far away, right? Yeah, I'm really leaning towards queen d5 here. Okay, type some nonsense in the game chat. Yeah, I'll be interested to go back and see, because I think he is typing in the game chat as well. We'll see what he thought. This would be good. I wonder if this guy's really from Trinidad and Tobago. The chat is buzzing. Don't tell me anything. Even that. Look, I mean, if you tell me like the chat's like going wild or something, it means probably I blundered, right? No information. He wasn't going to. Gosh. Okay, so queen b3, yeah, it's legal. I mean, I just said the endgames look good for me. I'm a man of my word, so I probably should just go straight for this endgame, right? Queen to d5. That's what I'm looking at. Unless there's some kind of crazy nonsense attack. Let's see. No. All right, endgames look nice. You don't actually have a threat. Like, if anything, you've just put your queen on a kind of ridiculous square. Okay, wait. I say that you're just threatening one of my pawns. Okay. So you do have a threat, but. So maybe if takes, rook takes. Yeah, come on. How can I get around to attack these pawns? I'm kind of assuming you played c6, which is actually a pretty bad move because of this. Queen d5 check, takes. Even if I get an ideal position with my king on e3, You know what? Actually, I have other planes to attack these pawns. I have that too. Let's go for the end game. Bam. And yeah, I mean, I have a better knight, I have a better rook, I have a better king. I must be able to push in this end game. I am very bad at evaluating in games though. Knight c6, I still have b5. That's a key thing. And you do not get to occupy this. King c here? I didn't really think of that. But actually, rook d, it's impossible. Knight c7 check by virtue of having the better knight again. So yeah, I'm liking my chances in this end game. I'm up on time. I am actually gonna have to calculate though. So maybe gosh, I hate putting this much work into a game and not getting any rating points, like USCF rating points. The chat is buzzing, but not in a way that knowing said fact will provide you any info about the game. Okay, whatever you say. Well, I can tell you one thing. MCAT is mad that I did not like sack my queen here or something. He's mad that I traded queens. Okay. Rook to d7. That is a very logical. Some might even call it an obvious move, but not me because I'm not that good at chess. Rook d7. I like that. Just come occupy this way. Is it enough? Is it enough? Didn't sack all my pieces. Not yet. I'm going to though. Just wait. All two of them. I'm gonna sack them both, and then checkmate with the a pawn. Calling it right now. All right. So when he plays rook d7, could I simply play knight e3? Gosh, these pawns look so weak. So weak. But if I can only attack them once, they're not really that weak, are they? When he plays rook d7, can I play c4? Maybe he plays c6 and insists. Let's see. I want to go knight e3, knight g4. It's always met with knight d7. But the knight is just like permanently stuck babysitting there. And I could have an idea of playing ooh. That could be actually the ticket. If I play a g3 here. Yeah, and then I get around this way and I attack. So start with king f2, rook d7. Maybe I trade? I mean, look at the knight has no squares from here, right? And in the short term, this is a very dominated piece. King f2, rook d7, takes, and just pawn g3. I'm threatening to take twice. If you take, then I mean, a very simple plan of activating the king. Right? Your king could also... No, your king could not become activated. Look, I may cover... Okay, I cover all the entry squares. Right? I cover all three of these squares. So unless you could coerce one of my pawns for it or something, your king is actually kind of locked out of there. So I'm going to go with king f2. And if he plays rook d7, I'm going to swap. And I'm going to play pawn g3. And he's going to take. I'm going to take. And then I should be able to attack this 2 times. Surely. Right? Interesting. Let's see. Maybe rook d7, knight e3 might be a better move order. Takes, knight d7. Still g3 is a fairly big threat. No, then c6. Knight belongs on g4 if anything. Huh. Maybe rook here. I should play g3 immediately. Takes, king takes. And now all of a sudden he might be trying to avoid the rook trade. Right? Okay. Okay. I'm better in every, there's not, this isn't, we have the, nobody's up in material, but in everything else I must be better, right? The king has more potential to be active. The rook is already very active. The knight has targets. I must be ready. Yeah, MCAT, I do not have summer camps this week, so I can play in the middle of the day. Crazy, huh? And I don't have a 230-hour work week. I have a 240-hour work week because I have overtime too. I picked up some night shifts at the gas station, so I work 240 hours a week now. Okay, G3 was my plan here, and takes and shakes and bakes, right? Giving me this pass pawn cannot be good for you. So G3 takes, king takes, takey, and I'm getting here. 12 minutes. I like being up on time. G3 is kind of committal. G3, he doesn't want to take here. He wants to play C6 or something, but he can't because of this. So G3 takes. Now he can play C6, takes. And king G4. And man, look at this king go, right? Yeah, I know your king gets active too. I know your king gets active too. G3 takes. Okay, let me actually try to calculate a single line for the first time this game. I've not calculated anything, but I'm going to try now. G3 takes. C6 takes. King G4, King C7, King H5, King D8, King H6, King E8. And do I have anything possible there? Yes, I could reroute the knight here. No, I couldn't. I could reroute the knight somewhere. Reroute the knight here. You could possibly defend like this. Dang. Okay, that doesn't seem quite good enough then. I definitely don't want to take here, right? And I don't see a winning plan that doesn't involve getting my king active. So G3 it is. Even though I just calculated that he gets his king active too. At least it should be pretty unlosable for me. I'm definitely playing for 2 results here. At least until I blunder something. And then I'll be playing for 1 result. Losing. Let me see. Is this still going? Yes. All right, so he doesn't have too much time, but I think even if he just goes for this forcing line of C6, well, not C6, taking here first, then C6, takey. I get my king so active. I get my king to G6. If I get my king to G6, I feel like I can play that position for a long time. Try to reroute my knight to every different square on the board, and even if it's not winning, I feel like there's potential to Carlsen some money. If he doesn't take here, well, maybe rook h7 or something. I don't know. Okay. Why am I considering taking with the knight all of a sudden? No, stick to the script. Stick to the script. Ah, I've just realized I put my knight on e4. I play king g4, put my knight on e3. Then I play king to f5. Then I play king to f5. Okay. So now I think he wants to avoid the rook trade. Now maybe he plays rook back to h7. And I'll still do my best to force things, right? Yeah, I think this is going my way. This is going my way. Should be good. I really hope I can beat this guy. He's so high rated, and he has not. He's 5.5 out of 6. If I can beat this guy, I'll be a hero. You are my hero no matter what. Thank you, Janethius. Genethius. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Genethius. Either one. Got it. And let's see here. Here's the pairing. There's no way for me to get the pairings to not look terrible on here. Okay, I guess the next game is... Wait, what? Razor Sharp only. Do we have a player named Razor Sharp only on our team? Did they substitute after we lost a player? Okay, he trades... now I have this 90... Okay, this... Ooh. What? Is the idea to... Wait, but I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. And in fact, I refuse to do anything. Okay, let me see. So b5, the idea is to play this, right? And to come in right here, and to make me regret it. Yeah, okay, so Razor Sharp is our replacement for Tony. Got it. Okay, I could take, then that gives you c5. I'm inclined to do nothing. If I do nothing, maybe this could become weak in another world, frankly, because you have no way to attack it. So d5 pawn can't become weak. No way. Your king, like, physically couldn't get around there, even if I gave it all the moves of the world. It's actually completely boxed out, right? And the knight is going to be babysitting this pawn pretty darn soon. So, and where could I attack it from anyway? So I continue with my plan. I play king g4. I play king g4, knight e3, king f5, knight g4. If you let me do this, I will win. So please let me do it. If you're watching this, please send negative energy to my opponent. Make them let me do this plan. Oh wait, no, send positive energy to me. It'll be better. Better for my karma, at least. Okay, and of course, I'm just blundering this passed pawn. Breakthrough idea. Very nice. Very nice. I think this is probably going to be the game if I can't stop this pawn. Okay, so your idea is just to take here, here, and get back here. Am I toasted? I didn't see this idea at all. Very nice a5, b5 idea. Gotta look harder for my opponent's ideas. Okay, so let's presume that I continue to do nothing. I start knight e3, right? Takes. King f5, knight here, knight here. If you ever push this, I play knight c2. The knight has a very precarious hold on this square. So maybe knight e3 takes. Maybe I should play knight c2 first, but I don't want to. Oh boy, I have to calculate again. I hate calculating so much. Knight e3 takes, king f5. Here, I better play knight c2, a2, takes. This is winning because I get this. And yeah, I'm always able to play knight a2, knight c2. And based on that, I believe that that I don't really care about this pass pawn, right? We could run up with the king, certainly. Let's see. So maybe no. This takes. Do anything about that? Takes. Yeah. Well, this excludes you from running up with the king, right? Take on b5, a4, knight e3, a3, knight c2, a2, king here, right? If you play this, I play this. So actually, I think this is winning. Is this not winning? Maybe takes, you move the king up first, then I swap this off, then I play this. All right, based on my completely cursory calculations here, I think I'm okay. I think I can actually grab this and play c4 next. 93. Play this, I play c4. Okay, have to. Well, do I have to do this? Might as well. Who cares? Okay, so why am I not completely winning here? After king f5, I'm up 2 pawns. This suddenly has gone very well for me out of nowhere. If you ever play king b6, I just play c4, and your king still can't get anywhere, right? So unless you can somehow sack all your other pawns and make another pass pawn, this should just be winning for me. Somehow. I think this the a5 b5 idea looks scary, but I think it must have been just the wrong plan, because I could just grab this. Let's see. This could be a very, very important win for me. I can't say it's too important for the team since it's the very first game of the match, but hopefully it'll set a good tone at least. And just for me personally, good win here. Okay, so I do have to be careful here. I am up a pawn. Feel like you're close to Zugzwang. I feel like you are actually going to lose to Zugzwang. Let me start here. Okay, let me see. King here, maybe this. Maybe here, here. Yeah, this isn't as over as I thought it was, is it? You're still awfully close to Zugzwang though. Let's see. Gosh, how are you still holding on to this? um, here, here. Maybe this takes, and I come back and take this. Here. Gosh. This is getting a bit silly. Okay, I should have calculated more before I got so excited. King to e6. Here. Takes. Here. Takes. Here. f6. Takes. Pawn runs. Right? I'm not crazy. The pawn runs. King e6, knight here. Takes. Oh wait, what am I talking about? Just take on g5, and the pawn runs immediately. You can take this all you want. h4 should just be GG, and I have this pawn. In case anything bad happens, like you can give up your knight for a pawn or something, then I still have a backup pawn to win with. So yeah, I think this wins. Okay, I freaked myself out a little bit about knight b6, but I think I'm still good here. Just take everything. I have a pass pawn. Whew. All right, so hopefully Harry the H pawn wins here. Yeah, I didn't calculate very much during this game, but I think I exhibited decent common sense. Dulce, what does dulce mean? How can that describe someone's style of play? Isn't that just a nonsense word? Dulce? Okay, so yeah, what is there to do here? King d6, takes. You could try this, I guess. Here. Ooh, if you win this pawn, you could get 2 pawns going. But I've got to be in time to queen first before that happens, right? Please. Oh, dull. Okay. It's dull, see? I thought it sounded a little more lackadaisical. Like maybe you just don't calculate anything, you just play nonsense like me. Actually, yeah, Pulsar, what's your score so far? And how many draws have you made? I know you talked a lot about it being so drawish. I've drawn 2 out of 6 so far. But in my defense, I was worse in both games. So I don't feel bad. Oh wait, were you the one who played that you played the French versus that guy who played B3? That was brutal. Was that you? Or is that Tony? I remember spectating that game. All right, so let me see if there's any crazy way. If you can win this pawn and then try to like push both of these pawns. No, you just play the Caro. Okay, that must have been Tony. In fact, that might have been the game that inspired you to quit. Because yeah, he won like insanely quickly with the B3 French, which I didn't have any respect for. But I don't think she plays the French either. I think she played the French just because she knew he played that and she thought it was bad. Yeah. Okay. So, knight here. Takes, takes, takes. Can you get to this pawn? Come on. Knight here. H4. Knight H3. King here. Here. H5. Takes. Push, 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 push. Queen. Push. Okay, please tell me that that's not going to happen because that looks like a ridiculous yet somehow plausible position. Okay, here I could have queen h1 at least, which would pick up the knight. Ooh, man. Okay, I underestimated that. No, no, not the d3 French, the b3 French. They fianchettoed their queenside bishop. And then, like, sacked the pawn on e4. Okay, here takes, takes, knight here, h4, knight h3. Get this. King here. That could be an important detail. Knight g1. I could take this. It's got to be winning. Got to be winning. We'll figure it out. I mean, the sad truth is that most things are good against the French. Like, come on, it's the French. I exchanged versus the French just because I feel like it tilts people, maybe. All right, here's the line where I thought that you were going to get Zugzwang somehow. Come on, does it not look like you're getting a little bit Zugzwanged here? And besides, I have this to force the issue if I really want it. Okay, so c3, and then if you don't play that, then you actually are going to get Zugzwanged here. Takes here, takes. I play c4. Probably should calculate a little bit more, but I'm not gonna. So, what are you gonna do? Sue me. Exchange Caro tilts you. It's probably because it's good. Panel Botvinnik attack. That's what I always played. Well, yeah. The French and Caro, they're second tier openings, but that doesn't mean like they're super bad. It's just that the Sicilian and 1e5 are like so good, and then French and Caro are like respectable second tier, and then there's like the just like complete garbage nonsense like the Scandinavian, which loses by force. Advanced Caro, yeah. I like the advanced French, but I never looked into the advanced Caro. Well, non-Panov, yeah, it's because the Panov's so good. Okay, so his plan is to just do nothing and see how that works for him. My plan, I'm probably going to make a pass pawn, because that's probably a good idea. Okay, b4, now your knight cannot come out, and this doesn't really seem like a healthy way to play chess here. There's just got to be a breakthrough here. c5. I still have time, so I could still engage in some nonsense here. You saved the chat from the beginning. Yes. Okay, yeah, give me that in Slack, Inka, if you really have that, because I do want to see what he was thinking. Especially, I want to see if he was surprised when I played bishop b5, which is a dubious move, and especially when I played knight c3. But don't tell me now. Yeah, please, nobody tell me anything useful, or I'll have to turn off the chat or stop looking at it. Okay, so here, surely, come on, there's got to be some breakthrough over here. d6. yeah, just d6, and then I run my pawn, and we're gotta be getting pretty close to resign time. Just d6 here. 2 pass pawns. You probably don't stop both of them. In fact, if you take it, I just win with this c6, which is pretty funny. I didn't see that, but now I do. Oh wait, no, I don't win with that. You have knight b5. Ooh, close. You almost win with that. Okay, takes c6 probably does win, but it doesn't win on the spot. Wow, I cannot believe that I won this game. I don't know what happened here. Okay, so I think it was just this. Maybe it was still holdable up until he went a little bit crazy with a5 b5, which to be fair is very scary. But if I get my knight back in time, then what does it matter? Okay, so here I'm gonna do a not very complicated plan called queening a pawn. One of my favorite ways to win a game. If you get your pawn to the other side, you guys might not know this, you can get your queen back. In fact, you can even get as many queens as you want, as many pawns as you can get to the other side, up to a maximum of 10, because we start with 10 pawns. Okay, so just b6 and c6 is next, and there's nothing to do here. Am I up a pawn? How am I up a pawn? I thought I was just winning because of the pass pawns. When did I take a pawn? Oh yeah, when he made the passer. That's right. Yeah, 10 pawns. What's wrong? Okay. No, I was having a conversation with like a 1700 rated guy. I don't know if any of you guys in the chat know him, who was trying to tell me the chessboard was 10 by 10. And it took me a while. I had to get a chessboard to show him otherwise. In Capablanca chess, there are 10 pawns. I thought we were playing that right now. Where's my Archduke? Okay, b6 next. I mean, any order of b6 and c6. But probably b6 first. b6, b7, followed by c6, c7, followed by resignation. The 9th and 10 pieces are the Archduke and the I don't even know what they're called anymore. One of them moves like a knight and a bishop, and one of them moves like a knight and a rook. And the one that moves like a knight and a bishop, I believe, can force checkmate against a lone king by itself. But I'm not up to date on my Capablanca theory. Yep. Okay, so I think here it might have still, like, I'm not sure if this game is winning, but it's definitely a lot better for me if I can go around. Oh no, my opponent was 93 in this, so I think I win this pawn no matter what. But the a5 and b5 might have been kamikaze, you know, no way to hold on after this. Okay, so he goes crazy making a pass pawn. That makes a lot of sense. I go b6, b7. Wait, what am I doing here? b6. I mean, it would be mean to win like this, but I could just take this, right? It would be a lot more honorable to win by forcing through these pawns immediately. Okay, here, 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 here. Yeah, I don't see why not. Here, e4, b7, takes, c6, push, takes, c7, queen, queen. Why would I allow that? Why would I allow that? b6 here, takes, push here. That could be even more confusing. Okay, let me just double check that. Yes, MCAT, get on that right away. Yeah, get on that visualization of the knight move. I like that. Okay, b6, e4, b7, takes, here, push, takes, here. I could promote to knight just to be mean. Queen, 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 check. No, maybe I start with check here. Wait, wait. Queen, queen, check here. I'm sure I could win that. Okay, let me just double check that I'm not missing anything actually. b6 here, b7 here maybe? It doesn't really matter. b6 here. I'm just forcing through a queen. b6, e4, b7 here maybe? No. Okay, this is just winning b6. Okay, let's see. You're trying to find correlations between rating and game length. Okay, so he goes for that. Doesn't really matter, just b7. I guess I could trade. It actually makes it a little easier to win if I trade, right? Takes, 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 here. b7, push, c6, push, check, here, queen, this pawn. Oh, yeah, okay, that's nice. Yeah, okay. I think I see the finish here. Takes. Can never be too cautious. Can never be too cautious. But I think basically I'm going to have queen e8 check at the end, forking the new queen with the king, forcing a trade. So I think I won this game. 16 spectators. Why so many spectators? Is this the only 45-45 game going on or something? That is a lot more spectators than there are players on both teams. Okay, so yeah, what I've calculated is take on g4, take on g4, e3, no e4, b7, e3, c6, e2, takes. King here is forced to avoid trade queening with check, and then I play this. You queen, and instead of capturing on e1, I just play queen e8 check, which is a fork. So that's game. You think Issa has a following? Oh, really? Is he? Well, he's not streaming. Does he run a Discord or something? Oh, actually, wait. I just realized. Yeah, Pulsar. I wanted to do a statistical project, but it's taking too much programming knowledge that it's annoying. What I want to do is run like a Monte Carlo simulation of Swiss tournaments. So like run a million Swisses, and then see if there's such thing as a Swiss Gambit, because that could actually be have some practical relevance. Okay, so um, I don't know, man. Who cares? Just take this. Just winning. Okay, b7. Hopefully I didn't miss something huge. Push, take here. Oh, really? What? Now I queen with check, no? Okay, letting me queen with check is not a good idea. Okay, and then I cover the queening square and game over. Whew, wow. Okay, I have no idea how that happened. I was scared to face this guy. But I don't know. Common sense. Common sense, I guess, is all you need. No calculation. Yeah, the opening went decently for him, and I feel like maybe an early positional mistake that I didn't really take advantage of that well. When he played g5 and gave me this knight f5, I felt like I was in the driver's seat after that point. But then he managed to lock up the king side so well. But he did this kind of strange move, taking on d3, and then I got the d file, and I felt like I was always going to be better in this endgame. And I was. I think this endgame is winnable even if he doesn't go kamikaze. But then he sacked the queenside pawns, and then it should just be over. So actually, it was a pretty smooth smooth game from my end, but good game to my opponent. But I think it kind of went like I expected. Like he played a lot of theory, and then when you got out of book, it's like, I mean, not like just kind of making these positional blunders, you know. Not to be mean, like obviously I'm not an amazing player. I made plenty of positional mistakes in that game too. It's just how I guessed the game was going to go beforehand, or at least my best hope for winning the game. Okay, he promotes to a bishop. Do I have checkmate here? Just take this. There's no stalemate. He can resign anytime he feels like, really. No stalemate. All right, he promotes to his knight and bishop. Good game. All right, let me look at this post-game analysis. Let's see. I do want to see the computer analysis here. Yeah. I'll be shocked if I miss something here at the end. Yeah. Well, obviously that's winning. Let's see. Let's see if I missed anything. H7 obviously winning. Okay, so no, I didn't miss anything. This is just clearly winning. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna conclude the stream here. So thanks for everybody for watching, and I do plan to stream the last game of the 45 league. So thanks for watching. I'll see all of you guys next time. Okay. Bye.